Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Georgi Matveev, and we're sitting here at David's Guitar Loft Lesson Studio in Webster Groves, Missouri, right outside St. Louis. And today, we're going to be talking about some arpeggios. Oh yeah, the good stuff, the fun stuff. 6 strings, all of them, right? So let's get into this, shall we? Okay, now let me just preface this by saying, is the playing super tight, clean? Would you put this on an album? No, but I was in a time crunch. I put this together in like 90 minutes from nothing to what it is. And so, yeah, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but that's kind of how I like it. That's how I roll. Rough around the edges. Give me that rocky road. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, here's the playthrough, and then let's talk about it. That was it. Okay, so let's get to the nitty-gritty of this, okay? So, you just saw the playthrough. It's pretty sick, not gonna lie. Was it the best playing? No, but that's okay. That's okay. That's why we're all here. We're all here to get better, dude. So listen, the idea behind this was I wanted to take something very classical-esque, neoclassical, like the late 80s, early 90s stuff with like Yngwie, I guess Sean Lane a little bit, Jason Becker, Marty Friedman, that kind of stuff, and just do a little bit of that, my own interpretation of it, and turn it into an exercise, right? Okay, so let's get into this. So in the piece, it's in D Harmonic Minor, really. There's some other notes in there, but D Harmonic Minor, that's the thing we're trying to do. And there's this A note, which is like the pedal tone note that you just constantly keep hearing, and it's just the open A string, right? So the whole phrase of what's going on in the background is you have this. Something like that going on in the background, right? So for each section of this piece, I wanted to do some kind of arpeggio sequence, but I wanted to change up the shapes a little bit so that way I can show you different ways to apply sweep picking, arpeggios, things like that, right? All right, so let's get into what's going on there. So in the first section, we have just this D minor vamp, right? We have open A, D, and then F. Really outlines a D minor triad, right? So over that, it makes sense to just do a D minor triad arpeggio. So we're doing that on the 10th fret. And that's the pattern that I'm doing there. Just a very standard, basic D minor triad arpeggio shape. And then from there, we go to that harmonic minor major 7 vibe, right? So from here, right? And so here, we're hitting that C sharp, which is a major 7th in D minor. So that makes it a D harmonic minor. Which again, to me, really captures that flavor of that neoclassical shred era in the late 80s, early 90s. So over this, right, if you're thinking about what are the notes here, we have A, C sharp, and E. So to me, that's an A major triad. So it makes sense to play an A major triad over this portion. So from the D minor triad shape, and so from there we just go with this, a very vanilla, very basic in some way, 6-string A major triad, right? Nothing too fancy there. If you've played around with arpeggios, you've seen this shape before. It's really just like a D major shape, right? We got 9, 10, 9, right? We all know that shape, right? So now when we look at the next shape here, we have A, E, and G. Now for this one, you can go a couple of different routes. You can look at that A, E, G okay, that kind of looks like it could be maybe like a dominant 7 chord, outlining A dominant 7, because we essentially have the open A, right? And then this E can facilitate the role of like the 5th, and then G is like the flat 7 in A dominant. And you wouldn't be wrong going down that route, and maybe we go back that route later. But for the sake of ease, I went with an E minor triad vibe, right? Because we have the E, we have the G, the A is a little bit of some funny business. We're gonna address that in a little bit. So, but because of this, I went for, let's just do an E minor triad from the 12th fret, but then I'm gonna slide up to that A, just again to bring a little bit of harmony around this little section of the piece. So over this, we have, right? And so this section here is really like, kind of like a 2-part sweep. Right? It kind of blends from E and then it goes up to this D minor shape, right? So after this, you know, E section, E minor, we go back to root position right there. And so because we're in this area here, we can easily grab the D minor chord right here from this position from E. And so that's why I call it like a 2-parter, because the first part of the sweep is like an E minor thing, but the way it ends, it's trailing off into outlining a D minor arpeggio, right? So right there, there's our D minor arpeggio, like that, right? And so again, this leads us into the next one. And so in the next section here, we go to this open A, F, and A, right? And so that's pretty obvious. We are shooting for an F major triad here. So from here, what's really cool is after this D shape, right? And that's kind of the end of it, but it's also the beginning of an F major triad. So tying in those, I guess, 3 sequences of chords, we have E, D minor, F major, and then after here, from this, we go up a whole step to open A, G, and B flat. And so to me, that just seems like, okay, we're going to G minor. That's what we're doing. We're going from F, and then we're going up a whole step, G minor, right? G minor, and then there's that A in there. So after we play this F major triad, we shoot up to the 18th fret, and we outline a G minor chord. Right? And there's nothing special going on here. It's just a minor triad. Right? So this is where things get interesting. After that G minor triad, we shoot on up to the 5th fret, which is A, because in this sequence of notes here in the rhythm section, F, G, right? And then here, we could think of that as E minor, because we did that already, and so we could definitely do a callback to E minor, and it might have looped everything together, but I wanted to, again, spice it up and throw in a completely different arpeggio sequence for the sake of this lesson. So after the G minor arpeggio shape, right, after that sequence, we jump down to the 5th fret, and right here we're outlining an A dominant 7, really like a dominant 9 arpeggio shape. So here's the complete sequence of the A dominant 9 arpeggio. We have 5, 9, 7 on the 5th, 5 on the 4th, 9 on the 4th, giving us our 9th chord tone. Then we go down to the 7th fret, which is our octave, and then hit that major 3rd again on the 11th fret. Hit that 5th on the 9th fret of the 3rd string. Get that flat 7 on 3rd string, 12th fret. And then go back to root note on the 10th fret. And so the first section is like an A dominant 9 arpeggio. Second one, A dominant 7, really. And then from here, we're just gonna go up a whole step to B and then a whole step to C sharp. Right, C sharp, because we're still thinking of this like D harmonic minor with that major 7th. So, and then after here, we finish it off with just a D minor triad, kind of bringing everything home again, right? And then we shoot 2 octaves up, finish it off with that D on the high E string, 10th fret. This was a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun to write. This is something I'm definitely going to implement in my lessons and teach some of my students. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Yeah, like I said, this was a ton of fun to do. I'm probably going to start throwing this stuff at my students and seeing what they think about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, leave us a comment, let me know what you think, and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to cover. We're somewhat relatively new in the YouTube space, so we plan on doing everything. Everything. You name it, we'll do it. You want some bluegrass stuff, we'll do it. Jazz fusion, we got you covered. Metal, whatever, dude, we'll do it all. We'll do it all. Unlike other people in this town, we do everything, okay? That's just, I'm not even biased. That's just me. Yeah, so I'm going to stop blabbering now. Thank you so much. Take care.